Generation X, also known as the Latchkey generation, is a generation of people born in between the mid-1960s and early 1980s, the biggest audience of cinema at the time, massively influencing teens by these amazing moving pictures. Films like The Breakfast Club, Grease, Teen Wolf and Back to the Future were also popular due to the relatable characters and storylines produced. Gen X was dubbed the Latchkey generation due to an absence of adult supervision compared to other generations. This can be linked to an increase in divorce rates and increased maternal participation in the workforce. Gen Xers are commonly characterised as slackers, cynical and disaffected, which was portrayed in many films during this time. Unlike today, where teens' main influence is social media, some of the cultural influences on Gen X were musical genres of grunge and hip-hop, as well as the creation of MTV in 1981. MTV had an immediate presence in shaping the visual, style and musical cultural factors in this generation. John Hughes was a director at this time that had an understanding of the Gen X culture and expressed features of the culture through his films. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, an iconic film today, was very popular when it first released. Hughes did an excellent job at creating a film that Gen X could relate to not only in the highs but the lows as well. For example, the main protagonist, Cameron, has an overall fear and uncertainty of what he's going to do with his life after high school. This would resonate with the disaffected generation and even young people of that age today. The film presents a lot of iconology throughout, such as the references to MTV and popular songs at the time, one being the famous parade scene in which the Beatles' Twist and Shout is a key component of the scene. Another popular film Hughes directed at the time was The Breakfast Club. This film's 5 main characters represent the struggles and frustrations of Generation X. When they are initially assembled and isolated in the school's library, it becomes obvious the social cliques of each character. They behave distantly towards one another as if their cliques are an impenetrable caste system. While the film progresses, each character's insecurities and struggles are revealed as their boundaries break down. This creates a more relatable characters for the youth of the 80s. Movies had such an impact on the youth, and still does, so making something that breaks down those unbreakable stereotypes may convince the impressionable youth to accept and understand other people that aren't like them. Both films present a sense of rebellion against authority and the education system of the 80s. In each circumstance, the character of the head teacher embodies authority and education, shining a negative light on both. This would be another factor that Gen X could relate to and further represent their collective views. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, views on education are almost immediately presented in the opening sequence, referring to high school as
It's a little childish and stupid.
And also later in that scene questioning the point of the subject matter he is learning about and stating
It wouldn't change the fact that I don't own a car.
This would be highlighting that the education system did not give the youth transferable life skills, which is what many high school students feel. Overall, the birth of teen films created relatable content for the youth to watch, finally giving them a voice. Even today, the classical cliques that were used in high school films in the 1980s are still prominent in films today. For example, The Duff, Mean Girls, Wild Child and High School Musical. I feel it was important for the industry to create movies like this, as teenagers were the biggest audience of cinema, so representing them in a system they relate to, like school, creates a sense of realness to cinema. The young people finally had a voice thanks to the large production of teen movies in the 1980s.